was looking down on these niggas from the top stairs. We been dropping back to back to back, but it don't stop here. People love to tell me their opinion, I do not care. Way that we keep bodying these tracks, man, it is not fair. Way that God keep blessing me, protected by my mom's prayers. In my own bubble like a Montclair. Count the money, making sure it's all there. Designer in my closet and it's all rare. Every year it's all nature boy like Ric Flair.
UGK the major, Wayne I play it don't stop here. Traffic lights, we going, know the time until the clock near. Bands on roll, we doing digi to the whole block clear. Yo, what you got there? Oh, did you not hear? Indies taking over and we got the whole shop, yeah. Her, she wanna know me better, but I'm on the top 10. Gotta match my energy, you see I'm in the top, yeah. Yeah, it's top 10, hey, hey.
Life goes on. I'm done praying for you. As this mic on, I have to break the silence, 'cause words are stronger than all alliance. I let you kiss me if you say you miss me. I just wanna feel alive. So suck it up. If you can't ignore me, I live alive. You should record this. Look at me flying, so satisfying. See you bluffing when you act like nothing. You know better, babe. You know better, babe. You know better. Why you letting down everyone around you? Now something's gotta change. Something's gotta change. You know better. You know better than the life you're wasting all this time. And you never told me it's not a crime. But did you plan this? You left a stitch, but karma is eviction. I will never be a victim. Life goes on. I'm done praying for you. Life goes on. I'm done praying for you. No use in doing shit like that. No use in sitting down like that. No use in shutting up like that. You know better, babe. You know better, babe. You know better. Why you letting down everyone around you? Now something's gotta change. Something's gotta change. You know better. You know better than the life you're wasting.
Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Countdown, levitate. Going up, elevate. Watch me demonstrate. On time, never late. I grind, celebrate. No pump, fake, hesitate. I've been scoring every day. Champagne Perrier. Since 9-3, been in the box, now I'm stepping up to home. Like straight out the sandlot, now I'm plotting on the globe. I work hard, I show love, that karma steady growing. Got this far, I go hard, let God take control. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. blood, skin clear. This here my year. Hey, look up here. This here my tier. Same fit 4 days. I grind 4 ways. I play no games. All me, no blame. On the wave, my own wave. Can't stop my shine. In the lane, my own lane. Can't stop my grind. 40 yard in the V12 and like 1.5. At 19, I cleared 19 in a month, no lie. Oh God. I was starving skinny, now my weight up. Got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam. Blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 0 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 0 degrees on them. 500 degrees.
What up, short bus? Yeah.
I saw indeed. We the top 10, UGK the major, way not play it don't stop here. Traffic lights, we going, know the time until the clock near. Bands on road, we doing digi to the whole block clear. Yo, what you got there? Oh, did you not hear? Indies taking over and we got the whole shop, yeah. Her, she wanna know me better, but I'm on the top 10. Gotta match my energy, you see I'm in the top, yeah, it's top 10. Hey, now I'm in blessed mode, did you forget, bro? Put G.O.D. first and nothing less, no. On a radar per release, per request, yo. Life is like a dice game, that's a bet, though. Is you bugging, that's a dub. Shoulder shrug to the stub. Tell them hit the squatty up. See a line of cars meet up. Nah, don't bother us. Windows fogging up. If she in a passenger, then you know she finest. Damn. It's really still a bros and my blood love. All is all love. AWD, I got a newer clutch. And my guapi up, you could call me up. Since you know the face and the name, this is us. We the top 10, UGK the major, way not play it don't stop here. Traffic lights, we going, know the time until the clock near. Bands on road, we doing digi to the whole block clear. Yo, what you got there? Oh, did you not hear? Indies taking over and we got the whole shop, yeah. Her, she wanna know me better, but I'm on the top 10. Gotta match it's top 10. Yeah, it's top 10. Hey. Yeah, I heard you knocking, but my nigga, I am not here. Watch out for the company you keep, cause people mad with. I will pull up on you and address it. I am not.
Muted. We're all muted. We all muted. This will be edited out in the final cut. Anyways, welcome to Carbon Corner. I am Rebel Lawson, your host. The man to my left, right, whichever the way it is on your screen is Snow. Anyways,
It's your boy.
happy Friday. What's up, my dude?
Hey, man. It was a rough week.
Yes, it was.
Everything going on with Florida, the hurricanes, South Carolina, all them getting hit with it.
Yeah.
It's been pretty crazy. Plus work. You know how that goes.
Yeah, work. I have a funny feeling my camera's going to fall off of this because for some reason the little band is not on it. But so if you see me go ding-a-ding-ding later on, you'll know what happened.
Just ding-a-ling-a-linging.
Yeah. But anyways, welcome to Friday. Like I said, we're going to try to start doing this more consistently every Friday for Carbon Corner on the Carbon Gaming Group YouTube. We were on Twitch, but there's way too much freaking drama going on Twitch right now. Way too much drama. So we're going to try this out. So far, so good. We've had some good. First stream was pretty good. Now we'll see how this one goes, considering I'm hosting it now. It'll mess up somewhere down the road.
Yeah.
But
You'll be all right, man.
yeah, I'm good.
Fun
I'm
time.
good.
I'm happy that you're taking it over because it's hard to do it. You know, it's hard to stream. It's hard to do the podcast and then keep chat interactive and then keep podcast interactive. So yeah.
Yeah. See, that's why if you have a host or a co-host, somebody can take care of the chat when it starts popping off like short bus in there.
Big old short bus. What's good, dude? Anyway,
But
let's get the show on the road.
all right.
Let's get it.
So like I said, tonight, if you guys have not seen the tweets or anything else, we are going to be introducing and finding out who Carbon Gaming Group just is. And that's why Snow has graciously allowed me to do this and bring me on as the host of this show. But I'm going to turn it over to Snow, considering he's the man of the hour. He's the boss. He's the head honcho of Carbon Gaming Group.
This guy.
Tell us who you are and what you do.
What do I do? Absolutely nothing, man. I sit in my chair all day. I drink some beer. I enjoy a little bit of gaming once in a blue moon, and then I rage and then get off. You know. But I am the president of operations here at Carbon Gaming. To not answer your first question already, but we started this 2 years ago, and it's been a journey. I mean, even just starting out, it was hectic. I mean, I personally I enjoy what I do. It's never been about me. It will never be about me, and that's why in podcasts it's kind of a little rough start, but I definitely enjoy trying to put people in places to succeed, and that's what Carbon's all about, really.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I mean, what got you into doing this? I mean, what brought you to wanting to do this? Didn't you used to be a competitive player, Apex player?
Yeah, I want to say about almost 3 years ago, just slightly less than 3 years. I started out, joined a team, and then there was a bunch of drama. You know how most of you guys know already how orgs operate, and then they fail, and then they, start a new org and then fail. And well, I joined an org, learned a lot. Then what we realized is the owner is crazy, put it in the simplest manner here. But we started a new org, and that org was called Trill. And that's when I started taking Apex to the next round of me competing, getting a team together, recruiting, and then I was bumped up as co-owner. So I was operating and doing all that type of stuff for the org. And then I started falling off on playing because, it takes so much of your time to operate an org correctly. Right? And and now here we are, We started Carbon up, like I said, 2 years ago. So we were able to compete for AGL. And then I got to know the owner. Ryan is his name. He owns the companies, right? The LLCs. Like, he's the one behind the scenes. And he came to me one day. He's like, hey, I know you just started Stream High Q, which was my business before I got into all this. What do you think about operating an org for me? So I was like, well, it took me a few days to get back to him, ironically, because Stream High Q was all about content creation. And that was my dream, was content creation, networking, bringing people together in one group so they can actively network and grow their communities. Because at that time, Mixer fell, right? Mixer went down, and then we went into where we go from here. So I was like, dude, this is a perfect opportunity. Let's actually show people how to create content, how to join a comp team, really get into the gaming side. Well, it turns around, I want to say a few days later, I said, hey, man, I'm interested. The only thing I ask is that I can bring a few people with me. Some of those people are not here with us today in Carbon, but it was a ride, man. Ever since from beginning to now, like, you meet people and those people leave. You meet people, they're grinding, and then they leave, right? And they're not gaming anymore, or, people grow up, as your parents might say.
Yep.
But
and then some of us never do.
yeah, like, you lose your hair. I mean, hey, man, you see this though? I got rid of the stash.
Yeah, I
didn't
seen that.
want to match you anymore.
Oh,
Yeah,
he was just jealous. He
had to
couldn't
be
he couldn't
different.
match his gray.
we had to be different, right? But yeah, man, that's kind of the short story journey of how Carbon came to be. I was just asked one day by Ryan, and now I moved down here, and I live 10 minutes away from him.
Nice.
So this Sunday, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go meet up at his house and drink some beer, watch some football, and talk about Carbon.
Hell
And
yeah.
where the next steps will be.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was introduced to Carbon. It's been a couple months now, 3 months maybe.
Yeah, about that.
We kind of ran across each other in another little gaming community type thing that we both were in, and I don't know, I joined their Discord and I felt at home, and I've never seen a more active community out of all the ones that I've been through in my 4.5 years. So, I mean, Carbon Gaming Group and their Carbon Discord, it is. I had to mute them. I had to mute the notifications because it was constantly binging.
Nah, don't let him lie. He had to mute me.
Well, that
right?
too,
Because I DM him all the time.
Nah. But yeah, the Carbon. If you guys want, I don't have any links. I'm sorry, but you can click on the links in the description of this video later. Once I get all the stuff added in, or I think at the top of the pages, there's actually links to go to the Discord and to the Twitch and all that good stuff. We don't stream on Twitch right now as much. I think mostly what we do on Twitch for the Carbon Gaming Group would be for the comp stuff and for the
Apex customs
and the custom lobbies. And we'll get into that a little bit later when it comes down to it. But yeah, the Carbon Gaming Group does a lot of stuff. I mean, name one of the things that you At least he answers your DMs. Ooh, Snow answered my DMs?
No. We all know who he's talking about. Anthony, we know.
But no, yeah, everybody over there at Carbon's is top notch in my book. And I'm really honored and pleased to be a part of it in this aspect of it. But so Ryan already had Carbon started, or was this something that you guys started together?
No, so he didn't really have Carbon started. He had AGL. AGL is Alliance Gaming League. It was actually a competitive series, which is what we won.
Okay.
What my team won is that's how we were competing and stuff. Well, I backed out of the team. I was like, yo, this ain't for me anymore. Like I can't keep up with competing. I'm getting older. I had a girlfriend at the time, then fiance, and then during that time I was like, yo, I gotta step back. But yes, so he had AGL started. It was a big brand name. We were sponsored by HyperX. Had our own data analytic company that was built solely for tracking kills, deaths, wins in Apex games, COD games, Fortnite, that type of thing. Valorant wasn't out yet, but I'm sure that would have been a part of it too. But yeah, that entire league was for competitive side, and he saw the imminent downfall of it because in this industry you can't trust everybody, guys. You can't trust everybody. Words of wisdom. But yeah, so once that fell to the ground, during that transition, I was like, yo, here's like, let's get this started. Like I bring these ideas to him all the time. It's like, let's try to get this started, and this way this happens, like you always look to the future. Like if you do something now, it's gonna affect down the line.
Yeah.
So we started, and he's like, yo, I want to sign comp teams. I want to sign this guy and this guy. I was like, take a chill pill, man. Let's look at what's on the table. What is going to either, one, make us money, all right? Two, how can we help people? I mean, let me switch that around, because my first comment was, how can we help the most amount of people in this industry? One, teaching them how creation works, right? And then streaming, teaching them about streaming. And then three, how can we benefit from that? Because in a business, guys, sorry to tell you, but you do have to benefit in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, so that's where we went. We started building Carbon up, got a bunch of our friends together from different communities. So I had like on Xbox like 500 people, right? 500 friends. So I was reaching out to them, yo, join the Discord, man. Like, let's play some time, blah blah blah. And then the Discord had started growing. We got the rights with EA to host the customs, right? Everybody knows about the customs. We were out of the first 5 people or orgs that ever got codes. We were the 4th.
Nice.
4th organization to get codes that had the right to actually do it. What I want to say really about that, though, is there's no contract between EA and us. We just get codes. If we need more codes, we get them, whatever. And then, yeah, man, like it's not something crazy.
Yeah.
You learn from experiences. So I knew that comp always caused problems. Always. People with egos. So I was like, yo, all right, so we'll sign a team. We'll sign like maybe two teams. And then we'll get more so in the content creation side, like streamers and stuff like that. And that's kind of where we're at, right? Is we're signing content creators, you got the comp teams, but our focus is on the content creator side, because if they grow, the org grows. And if the org grows, guess who's going to benefit? The comp side, because
Yep.
you're going to have viewers try to look at them or, view their shit.
Yep.
And then the creation side also branches and builds our socials. Right? That's how the Twitter has grown so much, is everybody networking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty simple formula, but when I tell you it takes a hell of a long time to do anything. It really does, man. And like, from my experience in it, time is one of the most important things in this industry. If you are wasting your
Yeah.
creators' time, if you're wasting your cops team's side, if you're wasting your manager's side, that's the stress, right? Is you're utilizing people's time.
Yeah.
One way to ruin friendships is to waste people's time. Don't push an agenda out, or don't, I don't know what the other words are, but just don't waste people's time.
Yeah, I think that's what so many people do. I mean, you don't only see them like in the comp scene. You see them in like some of these major brands, like the energy drink brands and stuff like that. They pull so many people in. They focus too much on one thing and they don't give enough attention to the other. And a lot of times it'll kill the brand. So yeah, you need to make sure. I mean, I couldn't do it. I mean, I barely can run my channel on top of doing my stuff with my YouTube and everything else, trying to get that going. But it's just like content creating. That's one of the things here on Carbon Corner we do too. We do hold like little network sessions and stuff like that. So that comes into play. His experience, my experience, and the experience of the community that comes through helps out a lot too. And there'll be more of that as we get going. We've got some ideas cooking to make that more readily. I'm having trouble with words today too. More informative, where you don't have to pay for it. Quit paying for tips on on how to stream.
Yeah, and Saul brings up a great point that I was going to get to, but thank you, Saul. Great way to just throw it in here. Carbon isn't just gaming.
Yep.
It's a lifestyle brand, and that's the goal, right? You start out with gaming because that's what you know. You rock with what you know, and then you start biting at things that you don't know.
Yeah.
And then you start learning those. Maybe you don't know much about comp, but let's look into that. Who knows about comp? Like you in the back? All right. Well, let me have you look into that furthermore. Like, look into tournaments, look into the brands, stuff like that. Like that sort of thing. And lifestyle branding is a lot harder than an org.
Yeah.
It is
Shouldn't
so
have paid
much
us.
harder, man. Shouldn't have paid 300. Oh, good
No,
lord.
I mean, gaming's different. Streaming tips, there's so many free streaming tips out there. You're wasting your money to buy them.
Yeah, Ninja? Nah. Don't buy his streaming.
I mean, you want to talk about clickbait?
Service.
That was the biggest clickbait I've ever seen in my life. Oh, only $29.99 until you jump in there and you have to pay an entire year for the service that's hosting it.
I think the biggest information you'll ever receive is there is no right or wrong way to do it. Well, there is a wrong way to do it. There's never just one straight, simple formula for streaming content at all. Like, nobody knows. You go ask them, they're going to give you some bullshit. They're going to give you the tips that we're probably going to give you, but there isn't any right way to do it. You just got to learn on your own.
And what works for me doesn't work for Snow, and what works for Snow probably won't work for me in some aspects. Just the way we are.
Man.
I mean,
Nothing's going to work for you.
yeah. But
Come on.
sorry, Sauce Boss, I didn't realize. It's the first time I've seen you in YouTube. I didn't realize that was you. And I don't answer anybody's DMs during the day, honestly, because I'm driving, so I can't always do something. That is my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. No, I just literally I have my phone on mute all day long. Trust me, my wife gets on me for not answering her text messages. Yeah. So I mean, with Carbon Gaming Group, I mean, that's one of the questions I was going to ask you. You answered it for me. Yeah, it's a brand. It's not just. It's really not. It's a whole. It's all of them built into one, because you want to be competitive. You want to be, shine light on the content creators, up and coming creators, creators that have actually putting in the work and doing the work.
Yeah.
And you actually
And
want
you
to
gotta
teach
think.
people how to do it.
Yeah. You gotta think. 100 Thieves, FaZe, TSM, big brands. They sign big creators, right?
Mhm.
But how do you think they all started?
Yeah.
So, like, take a second. Like, FaZe started out with a bunch of friends joining together, and then they grew, and now they're a household name. You ask, do you know who FaZe is? Your cousin, Brock, right? He's gonna know who FaZe is.
Yeah.
People that have been in it, like, they'll know. Or 100 Thieves. They're a home name brand. They're a lifestyle brand. People are wearing their merchandise. People are repping their brand. They have the logo. If you see a 100 Thieves logo, you know it's 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
You see the F on FaZe, like, that's FaZe.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and I think actually, I mean, I can understand. I mean, yeah, they financially gain from. I mean, they don't financially gain from their competitions for the most part, but they financially gain from all the sponsorships they pull in to help, promote those. I mean, from everybody I've talked to, the comp team, running off the comp itself, you really don't. If you're doing it right, if you're paying your players the way they're supposed to be paid, the orgs don't make a lot of money off of the comp side. So
No, and I think that's one of the first things I told you, or we were talking.
yeah,
We don't take money from our comp team, right? And that's a secret, guys. I'm not supposed to tell you this. Listen, first time.
Breaking
in
news.
Carbon, you have your players, right? They're competing. Say it's an Apex or 3-man lobby. We're gonna be fourth man. That fourth man, we're starting a savings plan for, so you can get to places. Go to, a LAN tournament in Las Vegas, or you live on Valorant. That's the whole point of putting aside the money. We're not going to use that money because, one, pardon my language, but what the fuck are you going to do with $50? Right? $50 isn't life-saving money. It's not, oh my God. No, you're going to use that to put them back into a tournament that they can make the bigger bucks. And guess what? At the end of their contract, right, they could potentially have a salary already side. Or if they grow to be pretty large, now you got brands.
yeah,
And then guess what? From that brand partnership and sponsor, hey guys, here's a salary contract because of you guys putting us on the map. Here's your portion. All right?
Yep.
And then plus all the winnings you had through that first entire year. So it's a lot of people think starting an org, and I keep saying this, it's just, it hits different for me. Starting an organization, according to some, is easy. Some people think because you put a bunch of your friends together, you got it made, right?
yeah.
What happens after all those friends are there for 2 months or 3 months, even a year? What's the next steps?
True.
What's the next steps after all that, man?
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, it just comes from knowledge, your expertise in the industry. You've got to research, you've got to put in the time, and not just inside the org, right? You can't just dedicate all your time to inside your org. Because, respectfully, me, I have some of the best management. I mean, not some, like, I have the best management. I'm going to flex it. Iris, Rag, amazing people. Amazing. They put in so much time and effort. It's just astronomical where I would have been if they weren't here. So,
and that just makes any business.
big shout out to them.
If you got a good management structure, because I mean, the days of micromanaging went out years ago, and because it's already been proven micromanagement don't work. Period, in business or anything else, it doesn't work. Even though some businesses still live on that ideology, but it does not work. So having a good yeah, mine too. Having a good management structure to help you out with the day-to-days, until it does kick off, doing it for free for the most part, because that's what most orgs are. Most people, and you don't realize that, most people that come into an organization to work, there's either none to little pay on anybody, so they're doing it for the passion and not for, with the hopes that something will kick off later on.
And that's the biggest thing too, man, is say you're put in an owner's position, right? You've got people working, put it straight with you. It's a job. Like, yeah. You're working for me, and I can't physically pay you, right? The only way I can pay you is thanking you. And I continuously do. You see it throughout the day, here and there. Like, I'm passionate in what I do. They times two my passion with it. It's a blessing to have them.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll meet some of them. I know Rag will come on, and I think Iris is coming on too here in a little bit. We'll pick their brains and find out how they're incorporated into Carbon and what they do for them and stuff like that. But so go back to the comp side. I mean, what are you guys dabbling in comp right now?
Well, ironically, Iris operates our comp team for Apex side. We only have one signed player right now, and we had several teams throughout the year, but right now we have Ronan and I believe one of his buddies. But like I said, man, it's turnover rate. Yeah. There's a turnover rate in organizations, but we just signed an all-female Valorant team.
Yep.
I'm so excited for that.
We had a few of them on last week. So.
Yep. And we just talked to them, and I can't wait for that to pop off. That's gonna be so exciting. Also, I did forget. No, we do have a team. Fire Knight and his full team. There's also a youngster in there too. I believe he's 16 or 17. Yeah, he's jumping in there. I forget his third. Oh, but yeah, we have a full team of 3, and then we're working on the second team.
Nice. Yeah, but like I said, Carbon Gaming Group's just not about everybody, because I know I've had a lot of people ask me. It's like, oh, that's just another gaming group that's out there, and it's like, no, they're more than that. I think a lot of it is just because you hear gaming group that it's nothing but gaming and stuff like that. But no, there are a lot more, and I can vouch for that. Like I said, I've been there 2 months. I've been through the Discord. I've talked to a lot of people. Me and Snow work together on mainly almost on a daily basis on things. So trying to get this highlighted and spread out to everybody. But one other thing, see, that has been answered. That's what I just love about this. I sent a little bit of teasers out, and I don't have to do a lot of talking.
Hey man, I can keep talking if you like. I mean, shoot, I told you we could be potentially here for hours.
Oh yeah, I
Just
know.
because like I love talking about it, man. It's something like I told you before. Is I'm passionate about it.
No.
I wouldn't be here 7 years within this industry if I didn't enjoy it.
Oh.
You're right. I don't enjoy gaming as much. That's one thing that fell off. But running an organization, putting people in a place to succeed, man, that is what I'm passionate about. Because growing up in the industry, I didn't have that, right? I didn't have those people trying to help me and teach me. If you want to learn about ownership, if you want to learn about running, I'm here to help. I don't care that you're going to run an org over here, because if I can create that connection with you to help you build up, and maybe you can even do it better if you have some knowledge, dude, that's what I'm going to do. Because guess what? Now I got a connection over here that we can team up and do stuff with. You know, it's not a selfish act. And a lot of orgs, I don't want to get off the topic of Carbon, but a lot of organizations, they are here for themselves.
Oh, definitely.
And you'll see it.
Definitely.
You'll see it. And then you got orgs that sign anybody and everybody.
Mhm.
Then you got people that have people sign contracts. You have to stream this amount, this many times a week, this many times posts, and this. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to come home after a long day at work or a long day at school and feel like, shit, dude, I didn't post this, but I also got homework. Oh fuck, I gotta do this. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, it's gaming. It's gaming. You know, just relax. If it happens, it happens. If not, then so be it.
Yeah.
We keep moving on. And
So it's basically.
I don't know if you heard that.
I mean, it's basically
Yeah.
like this. I mean, you guys. It's gonna be basically your choice, is what you're saying, whether you want to make it or break it. But you're not gonna, like you said, most of these, like drink companies and stuff like that people are partnered affiliate with, they require so much things. And if you don't, if you're not doing them, then they kick you. But
Yeah.
basically here, it depends on how much work you want to put into it, and how much effort you put into it. And that should be anywhere. That should be across the street or across the road anywhere, or across the board anywhere when you do something. If you want to succeed in something,
you can't guarantee somebody else's success.
Yeah, exactly.
You just can't. You the only person that can make it happen for you is yourself. I can give you tools. I can give you a family to be a part of, which is what Carbon is. I can give you the resources. I got access to EA. I got access to Activision. I got access to Hi-Rez. And there's another one as well. But it's just the point of the fact is only you can succeed.
Yep.
Only you're in charge of that. Nobody else.
Exactly. No, 100%. So I mean,
also,
go ahead.
Rebel, I wanted to give an analogy specifically for orgs, because that's what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about orgs. Treat every day like a flight of stairs. Endless flight of stairs in front of you, right? You guys know how you walk. Right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. Or if you're weird, left foot, right foot. I don't care. But each day you should have your foot on the back, the bottom step, and a foot on the top step. If you need to, if you're feeling like you're falling over, you're dizzy, I don't know, maybe you're Tua and have a concussion and you still play. I'm sorry, only football fans understand that reference, but you take a step back. You take a step back, man. Nothing's gonna blow up overnight, man. That's the worst thing you could think of. Take a step. If that works, perfect. If it doesn't, take a step back. All right, man. Well, that didn't work. Running 6 different, customs a week every single day tires people out. All right, let's think about this for a second. All right, let's let's run one, and we put all our effort into that. Right? Everybody can share it and be a part of it. And then, if that works, perfect. We'll move the next foot up, and we go full force up the steps. You know? And every day, you got to treat it like a staircase. One step at a time. Put little goals in front of you. If you can reach them, if that doesn't work, you just take a step back, realign your thoughts, your process, and then go to the next step.
No, I love that. I know that's something. I mean, it's probably something I need to live by because I have so many things. You know, I literally had to knock. I think like in the middle of the year, I had to let a lot of things go because I have a habit of taking on a lot, thinking I can do it, and then it's just like, yeah. So I had to do it because I enjoyed everything I was doing, but I had to take the ones that I knew were going to be beneficial for me to be a part of, you know, to either help do something or help people grow or something like that. That we're taking it seriously on the other end as well. So that's one reason why I came to started helping out with Carbon in this aspect and some of the other aspects is because of the fact that they have an idea and they're moving along with it and they're pushing forward with it and they have a plan. So where do you see Carbon Gaming Group in say 2 years? Or where would you like?
Well, I'll tell you this, man. Every day is different. Every day you're putting, like I said, foot forward. In 2 years from right now, I can see us with the metrics here. All right, we have 2 years. I want to at least double that. I want to have double the amount of people in the Discord, double the amount of creators. You know, I want to see our content being posted from our creators and them starting to blow up, right? Getting recognition for their hard work. And with our partners and sponsors and affiliates, I'd like us to work alongside them a little more. Specifically for us right now in this conversation, I'd like more along the lines of having those sponsors on screen. I'd like them to be a part of that journey.
Yeah.
Instead of on the side, we deal with it, you know, sometimes, you know, when it benefits. No. I'd like them to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. In 2 years, I would say social wise, double the amount of followers, double the amount of people that are in the organization, double the amount of effort, right?
Yeah.
I would like to eventually have somebody that's full time, but I do not see that happening within 2 years. I want to see within 5 years, I want to be doing this for a living. Right?
Nice.
I want our managers to be sitting at home doing this for a living. That's the goal. Our creators doing it, you know, maybe full time. A few of them. You know, that's the goal in all this, man. Yeah. Everybody wants this, that, and the other. Oh, we're not getting enough support here, there, everywhere.
Oh. Yeah,
listen.
Don't get me started on that aspect of things.
Hey, it's just the fact of the industry, right? Everybody is expecting something. Actually, it's the fact of the world right now.
Yeah.
Everybody wants what they want now, right? And that's something your parents teach you, or hopefully they did. If not, they're teaching you today.
Yeah.
Don't look at right now. Don't look at right now. Right now, you could be in a shit fest. You know, you might be owing tons of money on your car, tons of money on your house, this and that. If you live like that, you'll never be free, right? You'll never be free of those stresses.
Yeah.
So you always got to look at, okay, what can I do tomorrow to make yesterday be better, right? Is it my job? Is it what I'm doing creation-wise, since that's what we're doing here? Mm. What can we do to make the last one better than the day before? Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is to always look at the future. Okay, so in 5 years, my car is going to be paid off. And I'm going to have 70,000 miles on it. Might be able to trade it in. Who knows? Maybe, yeah. Yeah. Deal with your problems now so you don't have to deal with them later. That's another life lesson. Tonight, it's just life lessons with Snow and Rubble. But, yeah, man. It's all about the goals you set ahead of you. And, people ask me, what do you, your question about where do you see Carbon in 2 years? I don't know. Famous? I'm worried about tomorrow. What are we going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do an hour from now? Hey, guess what? We just signed a new creator, Soul. You were in that call.
Yep.
And I just tweeted out, hey, we're going to be signing 5 new creators. Who wants to be a part of it? Who wants to be a part of that journey? Every day is different. I mean, you don't know in 2 years. You can set a goal. You can set a goal for it, but you never know.
And my advice is just do what you do best for the day and then move on to tomorrow, because with the way the world is right now, nothing has ever been a guarantee. People that stream on Twitch could go down tomorrow. It's going down that road. It could go down in 6 months. It could go down in a year. I mean, look at Mixer. Everybody put everybody looked towards having a big future on Mixer. Didn't think about nothing else other than that, and that's what they based their future on. Look what happened.
Yep. Because their platform, you could grow within the platform.
So, yeah.
Twitch, it's different, man. And honestly, most people should have started out on Twitch just to see, hey, it's a lot harder. Anyway,
yeah. But
I want to bring in 2 of our managers.
Yes.
The 2 that I've been praising all evening. If that's all right with you.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I was getting ready to say it's about their time to shine.
All right. Looks like Iris is on the way. And hopefully Rag is too, unless he's eating Dino Nuggies.
Hey, there's Iris.
Hello, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
We can.
Excellent. I'm sitting here in the bathroom of my hotel room with my headphones plugged in on my phone.
Go hard, go.
All right.
Twitch makes 50%. Oh.
Honestly, man, maybe there's bigger streamers that means a lot to them. It probably does, but for smaller creators, man, look, I wouldn't even worry about it. I mean, if you enjoy Twitch, go rock with Twitch, man. If you enjoy YouTube, rock with YouTube.
Yeah,
there's benefits and downfalls of both.
Yeah, I guess somebody was asking me the other day. So it's like, why is everybody moving to YouTube? Why is everybody moving to YouTube? It's like, I'm not moving to YouTube. I'm diversifying my content like you should.
Yes, diversification, so important.
So there you go.
Never have all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, like I said, anybody that streamed on Mixer knew that problem, because everybody that streamed on Mixer did have their eggs on all one basket.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, that 50-50,
did, man.
that new deal with Twitch that they got going out with the new contract situation, it's going to hurt people like Ninja. Well, not Ninja anymore because he's not partnered over there. But it's going to hurt people like Summit G. It's going to hurt people like Pokimane. It's going to hurt people like anybody that has a sub count of over 2,500 a month. It's going to hurt their bankroll because they're gonna break 100,000 a year. So if you make 100,000 a year, your contract flips. Or is it a month? Is it a month or a year?
No, I don't know.
Anyways, if you make over $100,000, that's when it goes from the 70-30 split to the 50-50 split. Which it is still jacked up, but
anyway, Iris and Rag, welcome in. We were just talking about y'all. Well, I was. I love y'all.
Hi.
He wouldn't let me. He wouldn't let me get a word in inchwise. So.
Oh, I know. I was watching. Sounds like Snow.
It's all good though. I like gifts like that. Makes my job easier. But yes, we are talking with management, Rag and Iris. I did get your name right this time. Don't ask me why. I always, for some reason, when I saw your name on everything I did, I always put an E at the end of it, and I called you Rage. And Snow last night it's not Rage, it's Rag.
I was laying half asleep. I was like, did this man just call Rag Rage?
It's like I had to go back and look at your name. It's like there is not an E there. Damn it. But anyways, welcome in.
Hey guys, doing?
Good. How you guys? So I heard Iris, you're out on the run. You're out of town and stuff like that. You're not
Yeah.
where any of the storms are you? Or went through?
Well, my apartment is, yes, but we
Okay.
evacuated. Yeah, my hometown got hit like one of the hardest. There was like a shark swimming around in downtown and everything. People's homes were flooded. They were having to cut holes in their roofs to get out of their houses because their houses were flooding.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But we evacuated, so we are in a hotel room, just with our dogs, hanging out, waiting until it's okay for us to go home.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you were like on a business trip, but no. Yeah, I totally understand. I didn't realize you were down there in that. I knew you were in that area, but
Yeah, no, we I don't know. It was originally supposed to hit like the Tampa area, which was it's pretty far north of us, but the whole time they were saying even if it hits Tampa, we're going to get really bad storm surge, which is essentially extreme high tide. And Naples is, you know, max elevation is like 5 feet above sea level. So if you have a 7 foot storm surge, that's just going to keep traveling, right?
yep.
So people, yeah, and add on top of that all of the rain from the hurricane, plus another 10 to 12 inches of rainfall and everything, and how fast all of that was going.
Yeah.
Some people had up to like 14 feet of water in their homes.
I know that was crazy. I've seen some of those pictures.
But yeah, so they issued an evacuation order on Monday. It was an optional evacuation on Monday. We chose to leave then because we have dogs and we just like, I don't know. My fiance lived there during Irma and it was one of the worst weeks of his life. So he was like, I'm not sticking around this time. Even if it's not going to be that bad, I'd rather just leave. So we left. And then Tuesday, they issued a mandatory evacuation. We were like, yep, we made the right decision. So
Yeah, well, good. But anyways, why don't you give us a kind of a
sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good. I've got to get out of the mindset. I'm used to talking to creators, so when it comes to something personal, I just let them talk because I find it interesting. But tell us a little bit who are you and what do you do for Carbon?
Such a pointed question. So I'm Iris. I am like the Apex competitive manager primarily, but I kind of stick my hands in everybody else's business. And I'm always like a hard ass on snow. So
Somebody needs
I don't
to
know. Right,
No,
that's
she DMs me here and there. She goes, "Hey,
I'm like, hey,
did
what's
you
up
just
with
say
that?
this yesterday?" I'm like, yeah, you're right, but
I'm like,
and then have
Snow,
to
if
give
we're
excuses.
making a rule about I'm like, Snow, if we're making a rule about something, that needs to be standardized across the entire business. And he's like, yeah.
And then I had to give her excuses. Like, they're definitely not reasons.
No, but I just care a lot about Carbon, so that's I'm annoying, and I'm a hard ass, but I'm also pretty nice if you like, I don't know, deserve my kindness.
I hear you.
But I manage Apex Competitive primarily. So what I do is I host our competitive side of things. So I host competitive scrims. We've been trying to get a tournament up and going. A little bit difficult in the off season, but I'm hoping that as our tournament scene continues to grow through scrims and stuff, that we'll have a little bit more success in the actual tournament side of things. And then I manage our teams. So I manage rosters. I manage recruiting. Like Snow was saying earlier, we have a wonderful team right now that's Fire Knight and his team. So it's Fire Knight, Corsalino, and Funty. And then they also have Alpha Snipes, who is that miner that Snow was talking about. Since he is too young to play in ALGS, etc. He's on the roster, and him and Funty are kind of splitting events essentially because Funty can't be there all the time, and Alpha can't be there for everything. But it works out because usually if one of them can't compete in something, the other one can't. So it's working out really, really well, which is great because we had a lot of roster issues with that team, especially with being able to have 3 people whose availability lined up really well. Which, as we're not, like a tier 1 org that's paying a huge salary for our players to be here. They all have jobs and other things outside of this. So that's pretty common at this level of competition. And it's honestly one of the biggest difficulties in like trying to put together a roster. And then like Snow said, we are working on our second roster. So we do have Ronan signed currently. And we have been trialing with a lot of different people over the last month. And I have an idea of what our roster is going to be, but I want to put them in another scrim before we officially sign them. But the most recent scrim that they did and everything, the chem was really good. One of them, the IGL of the team, actually lost power, and Ronan and the other player continued to play, and they actually won a game as a duo.
Nice.
Which is really, really impressive. So I have really positive expectations for that team. So yeah, I manage your teams, I register for the tournaments, get them into scrims, all of that good stuff. Kind of do everything, kind of their coach right now too. I do VOD reviews, I watch every single scrim, every single tournament.
Wow.
I put in a lot of time, so if I can't watch it, then I watch the VOD, and I will usually try to have a call with them afterwards if I'm able to talk about what we did well, what we could improve upon. Usually try to help with strats. However, Bunty has been really helpful with our World's Edge strat for Fire Knight's team, which is good because if you don't know, the 2 competitive maps right now for Apex are Stormpoint and World's Edge, and we always do really well on Stormpoint, and we have like not been doing well on World's Edge, and we scrimmed this week and we like won a bunch of World's Edge games. So I feel really good about both of our teams right now. Sorry, that was a lot of words.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm sure everybody that's involved in the scene can understand every word of it. I'm still learning. I mean, I understood it. I understood.
What's Stormpoint and what's World's Edge? That's his question.
No, the map's on Apex. Shut up. I don't like World's Edge, because I fall off. But no, and you are keeping track of all your time, so that way when Carbon becomes like famous, you can sit there and hand your timesheet to Snow and said, okay.
Right. I already told Snow that I already have told
He
Snow
finally
that
gives it back to me. It's
my
no
rate
longer
is,
abuse, ladies and gentlemen.
I already told Snow that my rate is $300 per conversation, and this counts, Snow. So just keep that.
And I'm gonna have to pull out a house loan right quick.
A lot of dino nuggets right there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to send a truckload of dino nuggies.
All right, Mr. Rag, tell us a little bit about yourself and what your role is with Carbon.
So yeah, I used to be a lot involved into content creation. Then I ended up helping Snow a lot around Carbon just as a friend, and then he ended up bringing me onto the team as management. I began doing management just for recruitment overall in Apex, and a lot of that was finding the right people that had the right goals and determination, helping them get to where they wanted, whether it be helping them with their socials or graphics or just overall tips and tricks of the game. Now I'm focused more of towards Valorant management. I do a lot still with the graphics for Valorant for all of our tweets and things like that. Most of those I help make, and the headers and things like that. And for Valorant right now, we do have a comp team signed. We're still working on the creation team. There's a plan cooking up right now. We do have something that we want to release soon. We just haven't had the date to release yet. But our team for comp, they've been competing in a couple tourneys. Iris manages them. The ultimate goal, obviously, for them would be to get them to VCT. That's the goal for Valorant, try to get Carbon on the main stage.
Nice.
But right now we're more focused towards, me and Forrest are focused toward building the community for Valorant. As you know, we started mostly geared towards Apex, so we're trying to get all sides of gaming involved. And yeah, so right now just trying to get 5-mans going so we can get practice for our comp team, but also get the community involved with the people we have signed for Valorant. And I also want to get a Carbon Challenger going. I have signups that I have posted that I have to redo the link, but that will be just anyone can sign up, teams of 5. It's gonna be a tournament, and me and Forrest are gonna have a prize, whether it be a skin in the game or some points for Valorant. So
Oh, nice.
that's what I do for right now.
Sweet. So tell me real quick. I mean, how did you find Carbon? I mean, you
So actually, I met Snow through Twitter, and we just started playing like Apex and stuff together.
okay.
And me and Legion would like 3-stack all the time. Then one day he just kind of just hit me up and asked if I wanted to be a content creator and help. And I just like kind of went for it because I was playing already with them every day, and it was just fun times. And then after that, I just fell in love with the community from just
Yeah.
being in here at 3 in the morning, not even playing a game in a voice chat, talking to people or whatever the case may be. And then it just became like a second home, and I just wanted to help. And then eventually I got brought on to management. So definitely crazy how I met someone on Twitter and now I'm doing this.
I know, right? Is this something like you want to? Was this something you had thought about doing, or would it just?
So like at first, like not necessarily. It was more of just we were friends, and then I was like, oh, I wanted to do content creation, obviously, but
Mhm.
like terms of management and all that, not really. I was more towards like just I wanted to be a content creator. But then like once I got in here and like started like just being around all the time, I wanted to help it grow and I wanted to be a part of what we had going. So definitely now, but I wouldn't say like when I first started, it wasn't like the first thing on my mind, like how do I become a manager? It's just kind of was like, oh, like I want to do this now.
He wanted no piece of that action.
Yeah, at first it was
It
like
took some
no.
convincing.
Well, I can tell you one thing is like I've never. I mean, I've been a brief manager for an ALGS team. I've also been a part owner in an organization, and yeah, it does get frustrating, stressful, and everything else. But there's a lot of rewards, especially if you're doing it because you have a passion for it.
It's definitely fun. There's
So,
times where I never thought there would be times where like my girlfriend would be like, "Why are you on your phone still after I just got off?" I'm sitting here like texting people or doing these things like while I'm eating, and it's like, "Oh, sorry," but it's like this is what I like to do. Like I wake up and check Discord before I check my text.
your girlfriend's
Who tagged me today?
your girlfriend's text you 100 times, and here you check Discord first.
I'm like, "Good
That's
morning, Carbon."
dedication. There we go. There we go.
Next thing you know, I get a text from Rag. Hey, my girlfriend has told me I have to make a choice.
It's like Carbon or
Carbon or me?
Carbon or her. So it's like, so when am I hosting the next scrims?
That's gonna be the new meme. Right? There you go. That's some content, man.
Yeah, the PS5 or me.
So Iris,
Oh, goodness.
how did you get involved with Carbon? I mean, did you just stumble across it, or did somebody ask you to come in? Because you sound like you're very, very knowledgeable in it, and it sounds like you.
Thank you.
You could almost be the boss. You know, you could just put Snow in a cabinet and just.
Hey,
No,
listen.
no, no.
I thought about that too.
I know. So okay. My fiance's a streamer. He was a part of a different org about, I don't know, 10 months ago now. I was grinding for it. Didn't end up really liking it. Never ended up actually joining it. Ended up deciding he wanted to join an org. Again, like 6 months later, he was like, I don't know, I've grown my community. I'm putting a lot of time into this. I feel like I'm ready to join an org. So he reached out to somebody who was a part of the previous org, and was like, hey, do you know any orgs that are good? Because like as you guys discussed earlier, there are a lot of like Twitter orgs out there that really don't, I don't know, have a passion for this, like wanna, whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of not great, like quote unquote orgs, not to be like shady. So one of them knew Mandy, who I saw somebody in chat mention her earlier, manages like the content creation side of Apex. And was like, hey, Mandy does recruiting for Apex. You should reach out to her. She's an amazing person. And I think you would like it over there. She says it's really good. So I reached out to her. He starts doing his like stuff to join Carbon, right? And then I kind of like became friends with Mandy. We all played Tabletop Simulator one night, and we had so much fun. It was so funny. Um, and I just like kind of became friends with everybody in the org. I just like joined the Discord, and I like was friends with everybody. And I don't know, I have a lot of background in like administration, in a business sense. And I run a personal assisting business,
Okay.
and that's my job. So I'm very like, I don't know, detail oriented, very business oriented, et cetera, et cetera. And Mandy was basically like, I'm gonna talk to Snow about you because we need you. I was like, okay. So
That didn't take much convincing on my end.
yeah.
I already did. I see it all, and yeah.
I originally got brought on as Mandy's assistant because things were like really hectic at that point in time, and she needed a lot of help. So I got brought on originally as Mandy's assistant. And it was like really funny because like I got signed to Carbon before my fiance did, and that was like a joke for a while. And it was so funny. And but it was like a lighthearted thing. So I don't know. It just like came up that we were like, we need somebody to manage Apex Comp. And I don't know, I've never been like exceptional at video games. Like I'm decent. I'm like, I don't know, an average diamond Apex player, which like good Apex players will tell you that like that makes me garbage, like whatever.
I'm still
But for
bronze,
only having
so
played like
being-
FPS, like only having played shooters since 2019, I feel like pretty good about that. But I don't know, never been exceptionally good at video games, but I love them. I love the gaming community. I'm especially like, I don't know, really passionate about making a space for like women and other marginalized genders in that gaming community, and other marginalized people. So for me, I always thought it's funny. I was like, if I ever end up with a career in gaming, it was like, I don't know, when I met Mason, we met through gaming. We're both huge gamers. We love it. And he has always wanted to make a career in gaming. And I never really like intended to, I guess so. But I was always like, if I ever ended up making a career in gaming, it's going to be in management or tournament organization. And now I'm doing both. And like, it's not a career yet, obviously, but like, I don't know. I feel like it suits my skill set really well. And I love doing it. So it's just funny that, Snow was like, we need somebody to manage Apex Comp. And I was like, I can do it. And at first, Snow was a little bit like, you're pretty new here. Like, I can tell he was like, I don't know. But you have to understand, like, we built this org on Apex. Like, Apex was our baby. You know what I mean? And also, like, competitive at that point was, like, in a really rocky place. We had, like, half a team that needed to be a full team. And we had all these people who wanted to be like on a competitive team for us, but like just couldn't like pull their teams together. You know how it is if you're in gaming, you know what I mean? Like, so competitive was in a really rocky place. We weren't like putting people in tournaments or anything at that time. So it was like, I really need somebody who can take this and like make this happen, and I was like, let me do this, right? And so he did, and now we're here. And it's been a bumpy road, as you know, like in gaming. Again, roster changes happen a lot. The turnover rate is insane, but I'm feeling really, really positive about the future of like Apex competitive and Carbon.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. I first met. When I first started researching Carbon, when I started getting DMs after DMs after DMs from Snow, and he just wouldn't leave me alone until I started talking to him. But no.
Nothing to say. For the first time in this entire call.
No. Yeah, I mean, what me and Snow talked about and stuff like that, getting stuff together, we both have a passion for the same thing. That's why we connect so well. But no, doing this and like you said, trying to keep the turnover rate is crazy. I mean, not just for content creating, but for comp and everything else, for anything, especially right now. Because I think everybody's still trying to figure out what the hell they want to do,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm with you on the gaming. That's the reason why I gave up gaming. I'll do it for fun. I mean, I can't game and not stream. It's just something that's been drilled into my head for the last 3.5 years or 3 years. So anytime I game, I have to stream. So, but it's not my passion anymore. Finding out, doing this stuff, talking, and getting out there and meeting the people and networking is my passion. And I guess I found out a little bit decent at it. But no, so Rag, I almost did it. I almost called you Rage.
I hear it in the game all the time.
4K. Call him
That's the
4K.
thing. Every time I'm playing solo queue and rank, they always call me Rage.
I don't know what it is. I guess just because of the G, you automatically think there's an E behind it. But so, what are some of the hurdles that you've found so far coming in as management that you've had to overcome?
I'll definitely have to say one of the big ones would be just maintaining communication, whether it be with the managers. I know we have bi-weekly meetings all the time, and we even have daily conversations most of the time, whether it be a couple of us at a time or just two people. And also just with our players and content creators, whether it be like checking in on them. A lot of this, like, it's stressful a lot, and a lot of these people go through the things that these viewers may not know if they haven't been into content creation. It's really hard on a person to keep pushing out content and good content all the time like a machine, and some people are not getting the credit they need. So just being there for people, giving constructive feedback, whether it be streaming wise or just life goals and sit like that. I think a lot of people forget that we're humans too. We can't just be grinding all the time, even if we want to be. Like, people forget that these big content creators have all these editors just pulling their clips and editing for them while they're not even while they're just playing. So it's a different game. Another thing I guess would be developing like the content creators. I know when we first started creation, our first goal was just trying to get these people seen, because there's a lot of people out there that have untapped potential that they just don't have the right knowledge of whether the game or how to stream or how to make themselves known on Twitter and network and things like that.
Yeah.
So that was like a big thing on us. And now we have the support group, and we do a lot of inviting people that aren't in Carbon into Discord just so we can network. And I remember the one time a company contacted Snow, and he actually put it out in the group chat like, hey, as Carbon, we're not interested with them as a partnership as a whole, but if you guys would like to contact them and maybe get your feet in the water with a partnership and that company, things like that. So ultimately, like, giving these people opportunities. And I think another big thing would be developing my own skills as well, just because when I first started, this was my first time, like, I guess, in the esports scene. Yeah, I was doing content creation, but I wasn't like managing a team or doing anything like that. So learning from Snow and learning from Iris and all these other people that I've met, and just ultimately just going day by day and developing my skills as a manager today has been a big hurdle for me. And I think that just is going to keep continuing. And I definitely feel like every day it's not going to be smooth in the type of environment that we're in. Just with like content creation, you could have a creator that's grinding forever, and then the next day they just stop. So it's like,
Yeah.
there's a lot to deal with. So I definitely think that every day we're still learning and growing. So it's an exciting roller coaster.
Yeah. Definitely a roller coaster.
Hey, Rag, I have a question. What was one of the first joining?
I think your mic's cutting out.
You hear me now, Mr. Krabs? I said, what is one of the very first things that
No, it's still cutting out. I think it's whatever you have on in the background. Is that your AC kicking on? Because you were talking fine. You were talking fine until that kicked on.
I'm wearing pants, man.
Yeah, I think whatever's kicking on in your background is making your sound gate kick on.
All right. Rag, my question to you was, bring the mic to my face. What was the very first thing that I kind of told you whenever you Carbon?
I would say as a manager, the one of the first things he ever told me was like, don't get friendships mixed up with business. Just because a lot of the time you'll put all this time and to people that just don't want it, and you end up investing so much time and building this great connection that they just turn your advice down or give up or just leave you the next day, and you can't get down on yourself. There've been a lot of times where I put a lot of time and effort into someone just for them to either leave or even leave in a disrespectful way, and then you're just like sitting there like, dang, like I just wasted, not wasted, but you feel like you wasted it because you put so much time and effort into them when you could have been doing it for someone else. So I feel like that's another big thing, is trying to distinguish that line between business and friendships, just so at the end of the day you don't hurt yourself, because a lot of people in this industry will try to take advantage of you. I remember one of the first meetings we ever had with when I began with recruitment, some guy joined, and one of his first questions was like, what do you give to me, and stuff like that. And I know that's like a big thing for a content creator to do, because you're the ultimate face for an org. But at the time, the state of Carbon was in, we didn't have as much traction as we do now. And it's like, you, in my eyes, I was like, dang, like, are you guys are just joining for something instead of joining to grow together, which is like, you think about it as Phase. Phase started off with 4 people. They were just friends clipping stuff together and having fun and growing together, and now they're a nationally traded company. So it's just mind-blowing, because there's a lot of people that think that they can just come around and get something just to get something without actually putting in the work.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely. I've seen that happen so many times. I mean, it's just crazy. But like you said, a lot of people join a lot of these orgs to try to get them to get the notoriety, or they think they're going to get notoriety. They think they're going to not have to put in all the work. They think the name's going to carry them.
Yeah.
And
and all those people that came before them.
Yeah.
And that was what I was telling Rag, is that line is not defined. Only you can gauge that. And it's one of the hardest things about being a manager is, all right, so am I going to invest a lot of time into this guy that just joined, and what's the next steps? Is he going to be streaming a bunch? Is he going to be posting content enough? Am I going to effectively back him, right? Because before, we were having people just have to rep said person, right? Yeah. You had to rep somebody to be able to join, because we wanted to stay exclusive. We wanted only the people that were in here to basically represent us.
Yeah.
We wanted somebody that has been in here, like, say it's Rag, right? I would only want, if you trusted somebody enough, do you think he would be okay to join and be as hardworking as yourself? Right? Because that's, at the end of the day, we should all be working towards the same goal.
Yeah.
We should all be working as hard and, pushing towards that end goal of being full-time and doing this for a living and having fun doing what we love in life. Like, that was the thing. It's like, you have to gauge how much time you're willing to invest in each individual. And it's hard. And it's hard to even admit that you have to do that, but it is. Because for your own mental state, like I said, turnover rate.
Yeah.
Turnover rate is so high in this industry because people come, people go. People come, people go. And it's their outside life. It's them, right? You can't blame it on you.
Yeah.
Because I had, even in the beginning of Carbon, like, I would get hurt. I would get hurt personally because you were part of my family. Like, I didn't have parents. I didn't, like, that were around and stuff like that. Like, we were fighting and shit. So doing this was my second home. Like, I come home like, yes, man, I get to hang out with my boys and my fam here. Like, but then you start realizing, is that person really going to be there in the long run, and questioning it and everything. So that's the reason why I stated that first thing to Rag, is like, because he's like me, like he takes things to heart from others, and it's like one of my biggest concerns was, hey, I understand, like, you have your friends, your community here, just make sure that you understand, like, you can't mix it, because if you mix it, you're going to tear yourself apart.
Yeah.
You're going to tear yourself apart mentally with it.
Definitely.
But thank you, Rag, for answering that question, man. It was
Yeah,
that's
no,
good.
for
well
sure.
said, man.
Because there's definitely been times at the beginning of when I was new to management where I was like just sitting there after someone left, and me and Snow were in a call at like 2 a.m, just like saying like, dang, like we're just sitting there like, what did we do? Like, what did we do? Not enough to help them stay.
Oh yeah.
And like at the end of the day, you can't just sit there and think that it's all your fault. Like Snow said, there's many reasons that play into it, and it's just hard when you love something so much that you're just like, dang, like what could I do to not have this happen again? Or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. So Iris, what was some of the biggest hurdles that you have come across? I'm kind of curious about these because it kind of goes down the road of how the business aspect of an org runs, because you're always going to have hurdles. So what kind of hurdles have you come across since you've been doing this?
I just elbowed my door and it hurt so bad. Oh my god.
No.
No, it's fine. It's my fault. Okay,
Struggle
cool.
Number one. Getting pissed
Struggle
off at
number
Snow.
one.
Tell us
Yes.
about it.
First
Struggle. First hurdle is
Clumsiness.
being the guy who always understands what Snow is saying, even when he's not saying it properly, and having to relay that information to other people in a way that doesn't come off the way that Snow is coming off when he says it. Second hurdle, just kidding. I'm poking fun at Snow because
You're not kidding. You're not
Like
kidding,
Morse
because it's
code.
true.
it is true. I always know what Snow means, even if it's not what he's saying, and it has kind of become my job to interpret it. But I don't mind. Hurdle, well, okay. So, interesting question. Okay. Being a girl and doing this has been difficult at times. It's really interesting the way people treat me differently. Being a girl, especially in recruiting, like for my team. You know, I've had people, I don't know. I'm not gonna like name drop anybody, but I've had people like who are members of our Discord who would come to our scrims or whatever, right? Who like the competitive scrims I was hosting, who for some reason, I don't know, had a problem with me. And you can tell it's things where, like, I don't know, if I post on the Carbon Discord and I'm like, hey, DM Iris to register for scrims, like they won't DM me, but if I post like to DM Carbon to register for scrims, like they'll DM Carbon to register for scrims, or like I will directly tag them in our Discord and like to ask a question about something that they said, and they just will simply not respond. But then like a few weeks later, when they leave their org, they all of a sudden show up and they're like, hey, are you looking for a team? And I'm like, no. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just like, there have been so many people that have had like a weird problem with me for no reason. And like, I don't mean to be like whatever, but I definitely get talked down to a lot. And it's something that like I have had to, part of the reason why I'm a hard ass, I would say honestly, is because like I get talked down to a lot, and if I'm not like 100% like overconfident in everything that I say and everything that I do, like I don't know, I'm just like a girl or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's so shitty, like, and sometimes, honestly, sometimes I will say I forget that it's like that in gaming, because Carbon is like, not to be like, meh, but Carbon is so amazing. It really is. Like, there is like seriously a lack of discrimination in Carbon. You know, we have people who are neurodivergent in Carbon. We have people who, you know, are all different races, different genders, and like nobody gets shit for that. Like everybody treats each other with respect and kindness. So sometimes I forget that it's like that. So that's why sometimes when I'm recruiting and people are treating me like shit.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like you'll even have, yeah, like you'll have people specifically who will be like, I'm not interested, like, I don't know, because you're the manager essentially. I've had that circumstance happen like multiple times
Wow.
when I'm like, basically, like those people I'm not interested in trying out for my team anyway, because like, not to toot my own horn, but any of my players will tell you that like I'm very like dedicated to what I do. You know what I mean? And so I only want like people who are going to match my energy and how much I care about this to be on my teams, essentially. So like I don't really care that much because like I, I don't want people like that on my team anyway, right? But it does suck sometimes because some of these people are like talented players, so they have that mindset, and sometimes it feels like I'm just like shooting myself in the foot a little bit just by being a girl because these people like refuse to work with me, right? And it's frustrating. It really is. Luckily though, and I would just say like in general, recruiting is kind of a minefield. You have people who like, we had a guy who came to me and like begged to try out for our teams, and like I'll admit I wasn't super interested in him because I've seen him play before and I just was like unsure, but I was like, we'll try it out, right? Because he approached me and he was really nice and everything. And he was willing to be like flexible with like his legend pick and like his role on the team and whatever. So it's like, okay, we'll try it out, right? So we set a date for a scrim. We set a date and a time. Every time we do scrims, like to try people out, I arrange it around like everybody's availability, right? So I went out of my way to make sure that he'd be available, and he completely ghosted. And I have not heard from him since, and we had to forfeit the scrim. And that like sucks.
wow.
Like that's so shitty for like my other player who was like trying to try out that day. You know what I mean? He didn't get to try out that day because of this guy who forfeited the scrim, because I was in Colorado and I couldn't sub in for scrims. If I would have been home, I would have subbed in for the scrim, but I wasn't, so I couldn't, right? And
wow.
you're just like, I don't know, in gaming, for some reason, and this is like, I don't know, not to be negative or whatever, but I find in gaming, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. People treat this shit so casually, like when we're hosting competitive scrims, right? Not like our Sunday casual, like super fun scrims, but like competitive scrims that are supposed to be like practice for people who want to enter tournaments. Like people just like no show, or they show up late, or they leave in the middle of the scrim, and like it's just like it's incredibly disrespectful to me, especially because like I spend probably 20 hours a week just like on scrims, like like getting the scrim set up, like inviting people, spreading the word about it. I send a message, like if scrim's on Thursday, right? I send out a message to everybody on Friday or Saturday. I send a reminder on Tuesday, and I send a last chance message to everybody on Thursday morning if the lobby isn't full already. I also send a message to everybody Thursday morning with information like check-in is this time in our Discord server, the code will be released at this time. If your entire team is not in the lobby at this time, we're starting without them, right? I send everybody that information, and it's like in bulleted points. It's very easy to read. I make it as easy as I possibly can, and I reiterate all of this information during check-in as well in our Discord, and people still show up late. And to me, like, I just don't understand. Like, I feel like to me a little bit that's a big hurdle I find in this industry a lot. Is just like people treat it so casually when like what I tell Snow all the time, and like my general mindset about things is like, if you want to be a professional player, if you want to be a professional organization, you have to act like you already are one. You have to like follow those like same things that you would be, that would be necessary to do as a professional. Exactly, or else you're never going to make it there in the first place. And so it's really frustrating to me to like see all these people who like ghost on scrims, ghost on meetings, show up late, leave early, like all of that stuff like is really, really frustrating to me because like, I don't know, I'm super dedicated to this. And so sometimes like wading through pools of people who like say, because everybody's like, this is what an average LFT is, right? And then I looked them up on Liquipedia, by the way, and none of this is fucking true. But here's an average LFT, right? I'm 21, looking for a team. I can be super flexible with my, legend pick, except for they actually only play Wraith. I have been to ALGS 16 times. I fucking have won $4,000 in tournament awards. I have IGL experience. Like, I'm super dedicated. I'm willing to play every single day. I can take constructive criticism. I really want to be a part of a team. And then it turns out that they've actually never been to ALGS. They've only been in, they've never been in IGL. They only play Wraith.
Wow.
Get mad the second their ego gets bruised and they leave, right? Like, so, and that's my average experience. And that's a huge part of the reason why recruitment is so hard. And like Fire and I, he can speak to some of these things because honestly, like he helps me out a lot with recruitment for his team. We kind of tag team it because we both have like, hands in different places. So like I'll send him people, he tries out people independently that he finds on his own. And he's running into a lot of those issues as well because like finding somebody who A, has the time to do this, B, is actually dedicated enough to do this, and C, like is professional enough to do this, is really, really difficult.
No, it is. Like I said, I used to be a content manager for an up and coming org, and that, they're not around anymore, but I was their first content. It wasn't because of me, but they just, but yeah, trying to get management to understand and trying to find prospects. Yeah, I totally understand what you went through. But
Tell you what though, they overcome these hurdles so well.
Yeah.
I mean, just out of the stories that they both told, I mean they overcome them and succeed.
Well, and here's the
beyond
thing,
that.
right? What I tell Snow is like, Snow made a joke one time. He was like, Iris is always in my DMs. Whenever Iris messages me, I know something is wrong. And I'm like, okay, but don't I always also message you with a solution to the problem before I let you know that anything is wrong in the first place? And he's like, yes. And like, I don't know, that's my goal. Like, unless there's a problem like so big I can't solve it on my own. And it's something that I learned as an administrator in an office environment when I lived in Boston is like, if you can bring people a solution with their problem, it's so much like better. So I will always like try to find a solution before I even let Snow know that there's an issue, and just like a really, really big deal. But
Yeah, because that's the biggest part in the clanging. Yes. I mean, you're a human being, right? If you see a problem, you have, I don't know, maybe it's just people like with ADHD or whatever, like OCD part, but my mind goes to, oh, there's a problem. How can we solve it right then and there?
yeah.
Right? Like, all right, first step, what can we do to resolve the situation? Okay, what can we do next to make sure it doesn't happen again? Right?
Yeah.
People don't think that way.
No.
And that's like both Rag and Weenie both do that. Well, and Iris as well. They all do that. Also, I saw Weenie's name in the chat. That's why I said Weenie.
I Weenie.
Hello, Weenie. Nice to see you.
Big Ween.
Oh, and for the person who asked about like why not make it so that people can't come to the next scrim if they're gonna leave early or show up late, like we do, but unfortunately there's an unlimited number of people who won't show up or
Yeah.
will leave late. Like average scrim, if I start with 20 teams, because right now we're at a place where like we have a very mixed level of competitors, I would say. So we have some like people who are new and are like just trying to dip their feet into competitive, which we definitely like encourage and want to invite. And then we have people who are like 9-time pred 3 stacks who are like ALGS contenders, right? And unfortunately right now our pool isn't big enough that we can have multiple lobbies to accommodate different levels of play. Eventually I hope that it will be. So what happens is they die off drop 3 games in a row to the best team in the lobby, and they get angry and they rage quit. So on an average scrim, even if I don't allow like the same people to come back the next time, like it will still happen. Unfortunately, it is at this level where we're at, it is what it is. because nobody's paid to be
Um,
there. You know.
Yeah.
Go hard or go home. You asked the question earlier. I wanted to get to it. Uh, where is Weenie? She has taken a vacation. Let's say. She had some things in life, but she's still around. She's still
We
around.
love
So
her.
big props to her. And she's an amazing human being. Has the biggest heart, and love her to death. So we can't wait for her to come back and be ready to go. May or may not be admin side or whatever she does, but she always does things 100%. She meets new people, friendship, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's
biggest
incredible.
heart in this industry, man, and it's pardon me stuttering, but it's a blessing to have her be here and be a part of it.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolute
You know,
blessing.
that's what I'm saying. You know, the first person I met with Carbon was Snow. You know, like I said, we got together with in another group that we were all part of, and we started talking, and we ended up, you know, going this route. And I'm not regretting it at all, because I know for the fact, like I said, the people here in Carbon are just so amazing. You know, Amanda, Iris, Rag. God damn it, I keep wanting to say Rage.
You can call me Rage if you want.
Rage.
It can be your special nickname for him.
Yeah, it'll be our thing.
But it'll be our thing. All right. But no, everybody that I've met here so far, and that's one thing. It's one thing we're trying to get across to you guys tonight, and later, you know, leave your comments and everything else about some of the stuff that you guys have been through orgs. If you come through across this on the VOD and stuff like that, I want to know what some of the questions and some of the, or not questions, some of the hurdles that you came across when you were part of the orgs or part of a gaming community or anything. Because, you know, we want to help, we want to try to do something. And if you guys want to become part of a bigger family that is actually a family that cares about your success, cares about your growth, this right here is a good place to start. But no, Snow, you have anything else? I think we covered quite a bit. Is there anything else that you wanted to ask anything or comment on, or did I miss
I
something?
can keep going, man. We can go another 25 minutes if you'd like, man. Listen, I love inspirational quotes. I can't think of one right now.
I can think of one.
No, Iris. No. Okay, what is it?
Okay, no, it's
I
kind
love
of
this.
funny. If you've an inspirational quote that lives inside of my head, like, I don't know if you've ever watched The Office, but it's supposed to be Wayne Gretzky. It's you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. But like in The Office, Michael Scott takes that and writes it on the board and puts the whole thing in quotes and puts Michael Scott. It's like, I don't know, it's funny, but that one lives in my head. But it's true. You know, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, I guess. Haha,
I
there you
had
go.
that
Exactly.
above my bed, printed off on a basketball court with a basketball, and I think Michael Jordan was there, and it said that. And I literally had that framed above my bed growing up.
It's awesome.
I mean, not that that matters to any of you guys, but it is.
It does. It's personal.
It's a very good quote, and it took me years to understand it.
See, there's one, because when I started doing, when I swapped, we're doing inspirational quotes. I have one too that I've started living by. And when I started doing this, when I jumped out of gaming, because didn't have the passion for gaming anymore. And my streams, we'd always start playing, and at the end of the night, we'd end up talking for 3, 4, 5 hours. And I mean, literally, we would talk till like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I turned out to be at work at 6. So I just came to the fact that, okay, I'm going to start talk shows. So I started watching all these talk shows, you know, got into Joe Rogan, got into, not because of his stance, but because of his style. And a lot of people get on me for, oh, you like Joe Rogan? It's like, yeah, he's an awesome podcaster. Not because, like I said, of his content, but of his style, you know. So there was one quote that I heard him say one time on one of his shows, and it was, "The universe rewards calculated risks and passion." You know, and when I first heard that, I'm like, okay. So, you know, I always used to be I always used to be hesitant when I started asking for, people to come on the show because, it was just like, okay, I'm small. I barely had any views on Twitter. I barely had any views on Twitch and stuff, or not views, but followers and stuff. So I wasn't a big name. So I started asking a bunch of my friends, and then it's just like, okay, I'm running out of people that I know or not personally, but that I've known for the last 2 years. What am I going to do to keep the shows going? So it's just like, I seen that quote and it's like, okay, I mean, I'm to the point now, the worst thing they can do is say no. And I've produced and had almost a little over between 100 and 120 shows, and I've had one hard no out of those entire 120. Because I jumped out of my comfort zone, and I think that's what a lot of creators and everything else do. They don't want to get out of their comfort zone. That's the reason why people stuck around Mixer as long as they did, because it was a comfort zone. It's the reason why people are only dedicated to one platform now, Twitch, YouTube, or whatever, because it's their comfort zone.
I remember the one of the first podcasts you guys did when you were explaining that story. That was kind of crazy to me. Just to think that just even asking someone of higher level experience on Twitter may get you at a yes, but like just because you think that they're not going to respond, a lot of people won't do it.
Exactly. I mean, look, I mean, we were playing around on Twitter one day, and I had just followed Slim Jim, the meat company, that day, and they were playing around with doing their social media engagement, and I don't know, we started bantering back and forth on Twitter, and the next thing you know, they followed me. It was like, okay, that's kind of freaky, and that always freaks me out when I get people that have like 10K views or 100K views that follow me, and I have no reason why. I don't know why they follow me. I have a couple.
You call rag rage.
I've had a couple of music artists follow me, not like major, but I have one that's an up and coming that I stay in contact constantly, that I'm still trying to convince to come on my show. But that was back in those days. That was back in the day that I was very to the point to where it's like, okay, I just didn't want to hear the no, I think, is a problem. But then I seen that quote, and I'm like, okay, yeah, the worst thing they can do is say no. I mean, it's not going to destroy my life. It's not going to, if they say no, I'll just go on to the next one.
What's so funny is I do that all the time. I'm always telling Mason, I'm like, I DM this person on Twitter. And he's like, why? I was like, because the worst case scenario is they're never going to see my message, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, I don't know if you guys know who Hambino is, but he's an Apex streamer, and he's very talented. He plays with pros all the time. And he like put LFT, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna DM him, right? I was like, why not, right? I don't know. So I DM'd him, and he was like, ideally, because he's like, I'm considering all possibilities, and I was like, we would be in Challenger circuit, so like that's not something you're interested in, that's really fine. He's like, he messaged me back. He like took time out of his day to talk to me. We had a really good conversation, and he was like, ideally, I'm looking to be on a team in pro circuit, but that may or may not work out, whatever. But it was a really good chat, and at the end of the day, like, he either, won't come back to me. He could come back to me, who knows? But also, he offers coaching. So at the end of the day, even if he doesn't end up, on our team or whatever, because that'd be crazy, right? But like, so cool.
It's as crazy as you think
right.
it is,
but
because
at the end of the day, like, he could coach our team. You know what I mean? And like, that's valuable because, like I said, I'm pretty much our team's coach right now, and I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to competitive Apex. My mechanical skill is what holds me back in Apex. My mind is very good. Not to be like whatever, but I would like to have a better coach for the team. You know what I mean? Like, I would like to have somebody who, like, is really up there. So, I mean, that would be incredible in and of itself. And I just think that, like, every connection that you make has the potential to reward you in the future, even if it doesn't right now. And just like even making friends with the right people, you know what I mean, can lead to good things in the future. And if not, I mean, you still gain. You don't lose anything by making a friend.
No.
Every single one of the people in this call right now have a passion for networking and making friends, and not a single time do I think that any of you, until maybe afterwards, how do I benefit? right? Like, how do I benefit from, that conversation? Most of the time, you reach out to somebody because you're like, shit, man, fuck it, like Rebel Dog said, what can they say? No, like,
Yeah.
oh, you and your 500,000 followers is gonna really kill me because I messaged you, hey, you want to be friends?
Yeah.
I remember when
Yep.
the beginning of the beginning of summer, this before the summer started this summer, I began emailing like every esports organization to get an internship. And I remember a lot of them didn't respond. What I did is I looked up like the CEO's emails. Like, I looked up Phase CEO email, the CEO emails, Logitech, all these like different brands. Like, I did Logitech, Alienware, all these like PC brands. I reached out to like Kernel.
You didn't email me. Come on,
No,
man.
but look, and I remember it was kind of cool because I emailed this guy named Kernel, and he's really big into like PCs, like making PCs, fixing them. That's his like whole thing, and he's famous for that on YouTube and Twitch and all that. And him and his team contacted me back, which was pretty cool. And actually NorCal, two of their members contacted me. Not like to get like I didn't get offered positions by them or anything, but it was just cool to talk to them, and they just were saying that they thought it was cool that I reached out to them because not a lot of people do that. Like, I remember one of the NorCal managers saying like, I'll talk to NorCal Mitch, who's actually the CEO, because he was like this. He's like, I appreciate you reaching out. I don't know if we have any positions, but I'll see what we can do. And they never got back to me, but it's just cool to know that you never know what sending a DM could do
Yeah.
for you. So a lot of people need to just start getting out of their comfort zones, like you said earlier, and just trying.
Well, and like I would say the same thing even about jobs. Like, apply for jobs that you're not qualified for. Like, just do it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because the thing is, like, they're gonna train you how to do the job anyway, right? Like, and I mean, the internet is full of endless resources. Like, if you hate your job, if you're not making enough money, even if you don't have a college degree, like whatever, just apply for jobs you're not qualified for. That's what I did for my job in Boston, where I was an administrator. I had no administrative experience. I had no college education. I fucking dropped out of college. I ended up getting the job, and I had a coworker who had a master's degree and a coworker who had a bachelor's degree, and they had the same job as me. And they had the same pay as me. You know what I mean? Because I applied and I was really confident in my interview, and I learned everything that I needed to know, like in the training for the job. Like, I mean, it's like it's really the truth. You know what I mean? Just like the worst case scenario is they're gonna say no to your application, right? The worst thing that could happen if you DM someone or send them an email is they're just not
You
gonna
don't have
respond
it
to you.
anyway,
You know what I mean?
you know?
Like,
Yeah.
You
exactly,
have nothing
right?
to lose.
Right. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, it's just
So
a
people step in
psychological.
that
It's just a
mindset.
psychological. Yeah, it's just a mindset. It's a psychological thing that we don't like. We do not like the word no. I mean, it's just it. I mean, we don't like
Yeah.
even though
I
even
remember-
though
I mean,
I
even
remember
though-
I
the thing
asked
is, like-
you go.
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Rex.
I asked FaZe Mew on his stream to intern for him, like just to see what he would say. And he actually said yes, but I didn't want to do what he was doing. He said he wanted me like I would have to clean his like stream house. Like that would be like cause he didn't have any like work for
No.
me to do, like cause he
Yeah.
pays his editors and stuff like that. He doesn't need like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the only
Yeah.
thing he needed right now is like a cleaner, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm not, like, what am I can't put that on my resume. Like, I interned as a cleaner of a house.
I guess like my best advice for like I don't know, because I mean you're right. You know what I mean? We're afraid of rejection. We're afraid of hearing no. Just like I mean this is so fucked up, but like get over it. You know what I mean? Like realistically, like in every one of those circumstances where I reach out to somebody, even when I was a kid, like when I was asked my mom to go do something, I knew she was gonna say no. You know what I mean? But like I was like, if I don't ask, there's no chance she's gonna say yes, right?
Yep.
And I have this conversation with Mason about stuff all the time too, right? But like all I do is like I literally sit there and I go, what is the absolute worst case scenario? And I'm like, this person says no, right? And that's it. And I move on and I go about my day, right? And no matter how much I care about it, like I know Like this is the worst case scenario, right? This person says no, or they don't respond to me at all, and that's it, you know. And you just like prepare yourself for that, because I mean, for some reason, like I feel like we associate rejection with like kind of an exaggerated picture of what that would be
Failure.
like for example, well, no, not just failure, but like for example, for me, and I feel like a lot of other people, I don't know, like imagine not only do they say no, but then they screenshot your message and they post it on Twitter
Yeah.
so that them and other following can laugh at you. But like that's realistically going to happen. And if that person does that, then they're a piece of shit and you don't want to work with them anyway. You know what I mean? Like so at the end of the day, like every time I'm, you know, considering reaching above my reach, you know, I just like I really sit there and I go, what is literally the worst possible outcome of the situation? And if it's like just a no or no response at all, then I do it because like there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
If you're prepared for a no, then the yes is like so much better than anything you ever could have imagined. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and that's something to discourage. I mean, have expectations, but yeah, just always sit there. It's like always have the mindset. It's just like, but it is very hard to get out of that mindset. It took me 36 years to get out of that mindset. Or yeah, I guess. I mean that what I would classify as my, my adult age type. Is 36 years. But yeah, it took me 36 years to get out of that mindset. I've only been in this mindset for the last year and a half to 2 years. And I think that's what stops a lot of creators is because they are stuck in that mindset.
Yeah. And like I don't know, I think that we all have more to offer people than we realize, you know what I mean? I mean, like I don't know, I have like 100 followers on Twitter, right? That's my only social media. Like if I wanted to work with a brand, like what can I offer them realistically, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't have much following, but if like a brand, I don't know, is serious about wanting to work with like I don't know, if a brand is like good and has like, you know, true intentions or whatever, potentially I open the door to Carbon. You know what I mean? Like I have that to offer. Like I have a lot to offer. You know what I mean? I have an entire network of people like, you know, that could theoretically, you know, in another world support a brand. Like
Yeah.
if they were the right brand. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I think sometimes we I don't know, narrow ourselves down to like what we are or like numbers, you know. I think
Oh
that
yeah.
a lot of times in social media, I saw a TikTok earlier, funnily enough. This girl works in like social media marketing or whatever, and she was like, "Here is what,
Social media
um,
marketing.
yeah." But I mean, social media marketing works, no, though it does. That's the thing; it's so powerful. But she was like, "Here's what different like social media." Yeah. I don't know what you were saying, but anyway, she was like, here's what different influencers like quoted me for like a TikTok video advertising like my company today, right? And there was one that had like 550,000. They quoted her $4,000 for one TikTok video. There was another one that had like 350,000 that quoted her 3 grand, and then there was another like person who had 400,000 followers that only quoted her $600 for the same video. Like I think sometimes like no matter how big or small we are as like influencers or like people on social media or whatever, we like undersell ourselves, you know what I mean?
We do.
And like that just goes to show that like you could have $400,000. I mean no, sorry, 400,000 followers on TikTok and still be underselling yourself, right? Like
Yeah. Oh, I did. I mean, before I got heavy into the content creation, I did a side hustle that was profitable, but it just wasn't steady enough for me to quit my job to do that full time.
yeah.
But when I first started it, I was one too. It's just like because it had to deal with people that didn't have a lot of money to put into it. So it's like I was always wanting to like discount and stuff like that. But that's one of the mindsets you have to have. It's just like you are worth a lot more than what you think you're worth. So I mean, I get on my wife. She does like yard signs and stuff like that. She prints, she paints and stuff. I always sit there and say, you take whatever. It's just like in something like that. You take whatever it costs to make, times that by 14%, and that's what you pay yourself. If you think you deserve more, then give yourself an extra few bucks. But people are paying for the service. People do things like that. So that's a business side of it. And content creation is the same way. You got to treat content creation as a business if you want to succeed financially in it.
Yeah.
No ifs,
In
ands,
your
or buts.
business,
I
you
agree.
have to have 35% at least.
Yeah.
Most companies do 45% profit margins
Yeah.
at the very least.
And that varies a lot depending on the product that you're selling. For
Yeah.
example, in food, it's typically only about 10% profit margin, but like everybody has to eat, you know.
Gas.
But another thing I did tweet about the other day, that I think is really important, and a lot of people, small or big, you know, in content creation forget is like also you are a person, like you're not a brand, you know.
Yeah.
And I think numbers in general are really toxic. And it is kind of like the only way to quantify success. However, I consider success to be much more like, uh, you know, abstract than numbers, right? And I think that you guys would all agree with that statement. But I think that because numbers is really the only way to quantify success, that we get kind of mixed up in like a rat race with like social media following and Twitch following and sub count, et cetera, et cetera. Like, are you happy? You know what I mean with what you're doing? Like, are you happy with where you are? Are you proud of where you are in your content creation journey? Like, do you have goals and a plan to work towards them? Are you allowing yourself to rest? You know what I mean when you need to? Are you putting in an amount of effort that you're happy with? Like, do you see yourself continuing to be happy like in this industry? And like I think that that's you know, those are things that people like don't think about because they're just focused all the time on, you know, like I haven't gotten any followers in the last week, like I'm failing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like you're not. Like, are you happy with what you're doing? Are you proud of the content that you're creating? Are you building your relationship with your community? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if your following isn't growing, if your community is strong. You could have, you know, you can have 15 people in your Twitch chat and have a more active and engaging Twitch chat than somebody who has like 2,000. Like, I've literally seen it. Like, people who have 2,000 viewers and their Twitch chat is still moving slow enough that they can
Yeah.
read every single message because their chat's not engaging with them, you know?
Oh yeah, I say it all the time. That cracks me up. Yeah, just like you said, you see all these big numbers and there's nothing. So yeah, it's just crazy. But no, I mean, and this could be a topic for later on. I mean, we could bring everybody back on and do a
Sorry, I
no,
like
no, no, no,
go
no.
on rants.
No, you're good. You're good. That's what this is all about, is to kind of, it just goes to show people that come back through the VOD and stuff like that later on exactly what Carbon, how passionate Carbon is about helping creators grow, about helping people grow. But yeah, I mean, this Barry, it was lovely. I wanted to do this tonight to try to get like an intro for the YouTube instead of just putting up the shows and stuff like that, or what VODs were on there. So it is very informative, everything we went through tonight. But I do want to say, anybody that's watching this all the way through, leave your comments about anything you hear in the chat or in the comment section, because we would like to hear what you guys think, or what you ladies, guys, whatever the political correct term is nowadays. I'm just going to put it that way because I always get myself in trouble.
You can just say people. You can just say people, and that encompasses all genders.
I know it's hard to get out of that habit, you know. So, but just leave a comment down in the comment section if you came across something in this conversation tonight that you feel that you could touch more on, or would like to enlighten us more about your opinion on it. We love opinions, at least I do. Just be respectful. So. But if anybody else don't have anything else to add to it, I think we're going to call it good.
I got one more thing to say.
Go.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Big shout out to Rebel Dog, our host, fantastic host. Him and his beard and hat. Iconic. I'm telling you, iconic. You're going to be iconic.
It is just about every picture I have. This is what I wear. So.
Your hat matches your chair.
The reverse.
Thank you again to all our partnerships and sponsors and affiliates. Big shout out to Kindred Nations out there. Hot sauce, man.
Yep.
Fire. We're going to be bringing them in Rebel Dog and I, we're gonna do a challenge. Only way we can do that is by hitting 100 subscribers here on our YouTube page. He did just get in his DOA sauce.
Oh, I have a
You guys
bottle
saw
of that at home.
and it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be fun. At 100 subscribers, those that we challenged,
Yep.
it's gonna have to try it out here on the stream.
Yep.
So, thank you again, Kindred Nations. Also, big shout out to AGL and Gamers Combine and all the rest of you fantastic people. But thank you, Rebel Dog.
No,
Appreciate it. Man.
Thank you. Thank you
And
for the opportunity.
Greg and Iris, keep
Thanks
doing
for
it, you
having me.
guys. You guys are absolutely amazing.
Thanks for the
can't
opportunity,
thank you.
Thanks for having
and
me.
thank you for introducing me to all these wonderful people.
All right, fellas and ladies.
All right.
Peace
Peace
out
out.
into the carbon.
See you guys next
Corner.
week. I can't find my mouse.
We need like a little
Time to
outro.
the
though.
clock, no
Talk about
channel
it.
roll, we doing digi to the
No, it's McDonald's. Oh my gosh.
Did you not hear me?
Yeah, don't get instructed out already for.
Yeah, I'm not copyrighted.
Gotta match my energy, you see I'm in it.
But anyways, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, I heard you.